Girls, what is something guys shouldn't feel insecure about? Video by UPQ Reddit, or as I like to pronounce it, Upqua Reddit. We're gonna watch this video, and before we jump right in, take that with a grain of salt. The answers that you hear from women, guys. Yes, ask the people who you're trying to make feel a certain way in order to get them, in order for them to feel like that you're enough of a justification to get with, or to not judge in a certain fashion. Yeah, ask those people what it takes to ask those people what you should or shouldn't feel insecure about. That seems like a good idea. I mean, come on. Either way, both guy or girl, most people are just naive and gullible and stupid and ignorant and have no self-awareness when it comes to relationship advice or just anything pertaining to relationships. But that applies especially to women. Because one group of people has to approach the other with an offer. It's like a salesman. So why would you go to the customer and tell them and listen to what the customer has to say about what they're looking for? They don't know what they're looking for. They're just there to receive. So, regardless, I feel like it could be insightful for us to hear what it is that girls think that guys shouldn't be insecure about. But if you're a guy listening, use this, take it, and understand what they think, because that's not what actually plays out in reality. All right, let's see.
Girls of Reddit, what is something guys shouldn't feel insecure about? Coming quickly. I'm honored, sir. Coming quickly is fine, and I would never judge someone for that because I know it's not in their control. But I also don't expect it to mean that sex is over. I had issues with premature ejaculation when I was younger. The trick is to get the girl off before you come, not afterwards.
Alrighty, I like the second comment. Coming as quickly, but I've never judged someone because I know it's not in their control. Yet women tend to judge men over height, and that's kind of an intrinsic aspect, because that plays into, I guess, the perceived sense of masculinity. Oh, this guy, he needs to be able to take control. He needs to be capable enough to defend me or something. Yeah. Again, now, not to say that this doesn't apply. I mean, in my personal experience, I agree, sex is not over just because you finish. But even still, it's like, you can control that. You can control how quickly, it's called discipline. Monk status. It's the application of the pingus. And because it's, you should take your time with it. You should play things out, you should build up, If you can get it up to maybe an hour or two in terms of the actual process of sex or just the activity, or even longer, which is even better, then it's like you can ease yourself into being able to control that part. But that's not the thing I want to take away from this. That's just where I'm coming from on this particular thing. I know it's not in their control, that part. It's like, there's so many things that aren't in a dude's control that affect whether or not you respond to them or even give them a chance. Their physical attractiveness, that's the number one thing. That's a mandatory prerequisite that must be satiated before anything else is considered afterwards. That's why it's like, I don't even know if I said this probably in a few of my videos, relationships are just mindless garbage. Like, when it comes to people judging each other, it's never based on substance or merit or depth or integrity. It's just mindless emotional crap. It's about evoking an emotion from somebody else. That's the thing that people use to judge other people. This applies unanimously, both men and women, but especially women when it comes to their potential choice of partners. So, when they say, I know it's not in their control, so I don't judge them over that, horseshit. No one can control how physically attractive they are, but you, biologically speaking, just by default as humans, that is the most important part. That is more important than anything else, because that's a mandatory prerequisite. You have to be physically attracted to the other person for them to even consider getting a relationship with you. All right, we're already, I like the guy's name so many times before. The trick is to get the girl off before you come, not afterwards. You can do both multiple times throughout the entire session. All right, we're gonna veer away from this just because YouTube, family-friendly content, sure. We can watch a guy get a gun down or something in a YouTube video. We don't have it age restricted.
Being vocal when they orgasm. I've seen so many guys just hold their breath and try to choke any sound that might come out of their throat when they come, and it's just a little sad. Like, what are you afraid of? I want to know you're having fun. I want to know you enjoy what's happening. Be loud about it. Screw the neighbors. Same, but I think it comes from masturbating in their parents' house for so many years and having to be silent. They gotta grow out of that, because when a dude is noisy and audibly enjoying himself, that'll just make me orgasm. Liking cats, especially kittens. Why do some guys get their boxers in a twist about cooing over animals that are objectively cute and lovable? Chill out and pet the damn cat. Singing. I love when I'm at a chill pizza joint and the cooks in the kitchen are singing. Doesn't even matter if they're not great singers. I love when people are happy enough to sing. Guys aren't there to protect and have a shoulder.
I wake up feeling like you, oh, play right. Ejaculation. Also, it's like, these are all arbitrary things. Okay, on the flip side of that, right? These are things that these particular people who are commenting don't get bothered by. It's kind of arbitrary, right? You flip it over to the other side. The stuff that people do get bothered by is entirely arbitrary. I can totally understand why a guy, especially the previous example, how they don't make any noise when they're quummoing. It's like, I can understand the insecurity, especially given how arbitrary the standards are when it comes to the types of things that they're judged based on. You ever hear of a girl's icks? Made all sorts of videos about that. It's just mindless garbage. None of it makes any sense. Don't listen to these particular people as a general blanket as that what you should apply to just the people that you are interacting with in that context. It's going to be random. You're just going to run into random shit that they find to be important and don't find to be important. These are not... These aren't helpful. And even though they could say that, it isn't a reflection of their actual actions. We have no idea what's going on in these people's lives. We're just interpreting based on what they're commenting on this Reddit post or this Reddit forum. It could mean, they could say one thing and then have the opposite mean it. They could say it and then actually mean it. You don't know. And you won't know until you run into it. So, the best advice when it just comes, is just do your thing. If you want to make noise while doing the act, sure. If you don't want to, sure. If you want to sing, sure. If you don't, sure. Don't let what you think other people may perceive that to be as a reflection of who you are dictate how you conduct yourself in that way. You just got to do it. You just got to put it out there, and people are going to respond to it however the hell they want to. If you try to define a criteria as to how people may react to it, you're never gonna get it right, because you just don't know. They don't even know, even though they're saying this. It's just crap that they feel. That's it. It doesn't have anything to do with anything. But, all right. Next one. This one, let's see if this brings up a conversation topic. I see it on my screen here.
And have a shoulder to cry on. They need love and affection as much as we women. It's totally okay to need a safe place now and then and just talk. You don't have to be emotionless. We don't need strong hands wrapped around us. We can hold hands and walk side by side. Your height and muscle weight is not as relevant as some toxic people may make you think it is. Some friends of mine...
No. Disagree. That plays directly into what I was talking about before with the physical attraction. It's just a biological imperative. You don't control it. It's like having a certain taste here or there. All of these things are encapsulated especially when it comes to how people define the masculine frame. Your physical ability, your not showing too much emotion. It's like, come on, let's be real here. It's just random. That girl could say one thing, but I strongly don't think that that's a reflection of her own personal life. Well, granted, I'm judging from my own experiences, because that tends to be the overwhelming majority of people I run into. They just say shit and it doesn't mean anything. Our words, this blah, 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 is just sounds we make with our faces. Means nothing. Has no reflection what's going on here, has no reflection what's going on here. It's just crap that we don't understand. It's our attempt to quantify reality, to quantify this and this. It doesn't mean anything. So, but it's like, especially when it comes to that point, I think you're full of shit. Really? So height wouldn't matter to the dude? His ability physically doesn't matter to you? You can get with a guy who's physically disabled, really? You can get with a guy who's not so physically attractive. I mean, these are all things that play into how somebody is perceived. Not to say, especially when it comes to physical disability. I'm not trying to hark on anyone, but these things do matter to people, even though they pretend that it doesn't, because if they were to admit it, it would make them come off as shallow pieces of garbage, which, newsflash everyone, humans are shallow pieces of garbage. Crazy, I know it sucks. And want to know what makes it even worse is when you lie to yourself about humans not being that. Because that masquerades the reality. That adds more layers to the sadness caused and the suffering caused by the shallowness, the superficiality, the vanity. It's all garbage, man. Humans are just mindless animals. But I don't believe her when she says that, and I don't think you should either. Wait until you see it for yourself, right? If she's dating a guy, is he conventionally less attractive than she is? Is he shorter than she is? Is he less physically capable than she is? Then there would be some more merit to what she's saying. But until then, your words are just sounds.
Some friends of mine are really insecure about not being able to grow a beard. To be honest, it doesn't really matter. Mine has 2 bald spots around the jawline that make any attempts to grow a beard look weird. It's not so much that I want to be able to grow a beard for looks, although that would be nice. It's more that I'm tired of shaving all the time.
To be honest, it doesn't really matter. According to this random person, dude, I don't even, is this a beard? Look it, doesn't even grow in all the way. I mean, it tends to convince people that I'm older than I really am, but it's like, when they say it doesn't matter, that's just, firstly, that's not a reflection of how people actually conduct themselves, and secondly, that could just be what they're saying, and thirdly, even if they're saying that isn't necessarily a reflection of how they feel. That's just them trying to interpret their emotions in a way they can quantify in words. All right, let's keep going. I've established a baseline of where I'm coming from, but the foundation to this subject matter. So until we reach new ground, I'm not gonna keep chiming in, keep saying things.
It's okay to not be the smartest person in the room. Admitting you don't know or understand a thing doesn't make you look weak. Blustering your way through makes you seem like an arrogant ass. Admitting you don't know something already makes—
God damn it. Already, what do you think confidence is? You don't just pull it from nowhere. It has to come from a track record of success. But when you're constantly failing, it is so much harder for you to be. You have to fake it, because where else is it coming from? But confidence is a mandatory prerequisite. This is probably a woman saying this. She has no idea what it takes for a dude to have to approach her and to present an actual offer, like a salesman. That requires confidence. And if you failed a bunch, if you keep getting rejected, and if that gets to you, which it inevitably will, that's what failure does to people. Where does it come from? Faking it. Wow, well, but you just said you don't like that. Now, granted, that's not a reflection, not the smartest person in the world. I'm just using that. I'm going off of what she says in the next part. Admitting you don't know, understanding a thing does not make you look weak. That's not true. If you were to take somebody in a leadership position, even if they're afraid, even if they don't know what's going on, even if they don't know what to do, they have to maintain the composure for the sake of the other people, their followers, the people who are listening to them, who put them in that leadership position, how they feel. Otherwise, they're going to doubt that person's leadership. They're going to make up a bunch of stuff as a result. The actual outcome of things doesn't, that's the thing that people look at. And how you get there, that's just a whole random fuck shit ordeal of random crap that acquires you that outcome. But, that's not necessarily fully what they're saying. It's just, I'm using it to reflect something else, which plays into an aspect of what they're saying. Blistering your way through makes you seem like an arrogant ass. What do you think confidence is? What do you think people... If you keep failing, and then that's usually merited by all sorts of crap that you don't have control over, right? If you're an unattractive dude, and you're up front, you're doing all these things, you try to be confident, you keep getting rejected, that's going to leave some impact on you, and that will affect your performance to some degree. So you're still able to push through that, it adds more weight to it, versus other people who may not have been faced with nearly as much rejection and discontent, which is usually the case for a lot of these women, because these women never have to propose an offer to people in order to get a relationship. They just sit and fucking wait and they receive it from people, and then they complain about not receiving specific things that they want based on whatever random crap they prioritize in their life. It's but this person doesn't take it with a huge grain of salt. Huge grain of Himalayan.
Already makes you smarter than average. Appearing feminine over stupid things, like a puppy's cute, wearing pink, or being generally friendly and smiley. Women like that shit, and get annoyed and exhausted by men who take masculinity too far.
Horse shit, dude. What do you think women icks are? I'm gonna link to a video where it goes into that, where it's a video where I'm reacting to how girls react to a guy's height, because all of them say it matters, all of them. Yet shit like this, when they say this is antithetical to that, even though that's not how it plays out in reality, you're disregarding biology. It's like, dude, it was so petty to stuff like, if he falls off his skateboard and he goes chasing after it, that's a yuck. If he's nice to people, if he fucking, I don't know, gets cold, I don't believe you when you say that shit. They're just your words, dude. Give me a fucking break. Honestly. It doesn't matter, trust me. No, absolutely I don't trust you. Because you were the one who benefits from telling men this, because they would play into your frame to make you feel a certain way. It's crazy. It's unbelievable. Like, you think these insecurities come from nowhere? Get out of here, man. Honestly.
The flip side of comments about not being able to grow a beard. Guys shouldn't feel insecure about being hairy. I love a hairy chest, and I don't find a hairy back or shoulders to be a problem. Like most things listed here, yeah, you'll find women who won't like it, but if they're willing to write you off for something physical that's out of your control, they probably aren't the person for you. I will say, regardless—
I agree with that, but that's everyone. So just be alone if that's the case. Everyone does these things. Look at, you'll find women who won't like it, but if they're willing to willing to write you off for something physical that is out of your control, they probably aren't the person for you. So if you are not physically attractive to people, does that mean no one's for you? Yeah, let's keep pretending here. Let's keep pretending that humans aren't just animals that feel things. Unbelievable, dude. Like, it's so easy for you to say that, especially when you don't have to be the one that puts yourself out there. Get the fuck out of here, Mrs. Kubra? Mr. Scubra? I don't know. Whatever that name is. It looks like a dude. But still, I agree with that. But through agreeing with that, you kind of like have to acknowledge the reality of things, that humans are just animals that feel things. There is no substance or depth or merit to what we do. It's just emotion that motivates our actions. That's it. All right. Let's keep going.
I'll say, regardless of anything else, hygiene is important. If you're hairy, you might sweat more depending on the climate and how warm you run, but if you shower regularly and keep everything clean, it's all good. Yes, this includes hairy butts, back—
I disagree with that. Here's a personal experience, and this is really funny. It's also really gross, but a perfect reflection of how humans work. I was in college. Didn't really put myself out there too much, but even still, a few times I would. It really didn't amount to anything. Granted, I looked a little bit more crusty back then, but then again, but here's a thing to reflect the opposite of what this person's talking about. I had a roommate, 7 feet tall, would never brush, would never, like, fucking bathe. He'd lay, like, skin contact on his mattress with no cover over it so that you'd see, like, a black imprint over some time. He was disgusting. We moved into a new apartment. 2 weeks, there was no hot water. I was dying. I had to take like bird baths and shit. And I take hygiene very seriously. And it makes no difference because this is just shit that people are saying. It actually has no reflection of their actions. This guy, he had no problem with it. He also had no problem with getting with girls. He was 7 feet tall. Not to say that that's the determining factor, which it could have been, which is another thing that kind of antithetical to all the crap these girls are saying. But it's like, here's another thing that should really make you think it's gross. I had a time in which I was coming home. My roommate, this other roommate, he was fucking awesome. I love this guy. But he came to me after day at school. He just walked up out of nowhere. He had a knife, right? He was like this. Hey man, I can't do this. And I was like, what does this mean? So he brought me to my roommate's room, who the roommate had just moved out to a different place and we were in the process of getting a new roommate. We had found that over the past year in which he was living there, he had a bed, right, next to a wall. He had spent so many times sitting in his bed, not showering or bathing or brushing his teeth after for super long, doing this. Taking his boogers and then flicking it onto the wall. And my roommate was like, we got to get our deposit back and I don't want them seeing that shit. And he didn't have the stomach to be able to just clean it. I did though, and I was willing to do this for this guy. This guy was I love this guy. This roommate was excellent. He was one of the best roommates anyone could ask for, but not the guy who flicked the other guy who was cleaning it. I had to sit there and chip his boogers off the wall, which had accumulated over about a year's span of time. That guy had no problem getting with girls. Meanwhile, I was getting rejected incessantly. Yeah, you want to talk to me about this shit as if it fucking matters? Get the hell out of here. Humans are animals. Like, he had 2 girlfriends throughout the single, what was it, like, we were roommates for like 2 years or something, a year or 2. He just did the right thing in the right ways to curate people's emotions. It had no bearing on this. That's my counter to what this fucking person's saying. Hygiene matters. No, it doesn't. What random shit you find important is what matters. If you find a guy who checks all your dumbass emotional check boxes and he just doesn't bathe or brush his teeth or anything, you wouldn't give a shit. You'd follow in suit with your emotions because humans are dumb animals who have no self-awareness. But that's just a little side story. It was pretty disgusting, but I learned a lot from that instance. And funny enough, a few of his girlfriends didn't really like me because I just wasn't very talkative at the time. I just wasn't always putting myself out there. Yet they would be willing to get with a guy who wouldn't bathe for literal weeks on end. And I'm the crazy one. That's funny. Fucking animals.
Includes hairy butts, backs, legs, shoulders, etc. I think the only thing I might ask someone to trim would be crazy nose hair, though that could be disguised by a mustache. Crying. It can be so difficult to do. I didn't cry for probably 10 years, due to getting told my entire life, men don't cry, suck it up, princess, by every other man in my life. After 2 years of allowing myself to feel, the one thing that broke my crying dry streak was my cat dying. That was the only thing in 10 years that managed to move me to tears. Thankfully, I'm getting better. Balding. Somebody...
If only you were right. That would be really cool, because crying is a mandatory, like, that's just what we are. We're humans. We're emotional creatures. You need to cry. You need an outlet, some cathartic outlet to release the pain you feel, or the sadness or anger, whatever it is. But I can't sit here and tell you with confidence that if you cry in front of a girl that perceives you as physically attractive, that it won't lead to some effect on the way that they view you. Because that plays into the perceived masculine frame. Because, you know, what I'm saying, if what you're saying is true, then that would mean that it's about substance. It's about character. It's about depth. It's about meaning. Nope. Humans aren't good enough for that for the overwhelming most part. It would be great if you'd be able to do these types of things, but try it. See what happens. Like, you should be able to do that, and yes, what that other person previously was saying, if you cry in front of, like, your girlfriend and she finds you gross, she's garbage. She's a garbage piece of shit. Don't tolerate that. I do believe that it's possible to find people who, like, are substantial, not just mindless animals who are adherent to their basic primitive biology, but I can't sit here and say with confidence that that's most people. I can't sit here and tell you that you should be doing this as if, like, there won't be some degree of ramifications for it. You should be able to, and if you do it and then you face ramifications, that is some telltale sign, but or some reflection of that person on the inside, the person who's judging you. But don't, like, expect something. Do it and then expect there to be something as a result, and if there isn't, then you're just like, oh shit, cool, awesome. Then that is a reflection of that person's worth on the inside. But people are shallow, superficial animals. So just be careful with that. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to tell you that isn't possible, but for the overwhelming most part, it's not going to turn out in your favor if you do that.
Better. Balding. So many guys try to hide it or even get plugs or constantly wear hats. Just keep the sides cut close, buzzed, or shaved, and most women will actually think it's attractive. A friend of mine shows signs of balding already. He seems pretty confident about it, saying at one point he's just gonna shave it all. Honestly, his confidence is attractive. No matter what the hair looks like, confidence makes all the difference. They should...
Yeah. That's why it's a big thing about hypergamy. It's about curating emotion. Confidence is a huge part of that. You can still not necessarily be considered attractive and have, like, options if you're willing to keep putting yourself out there and face that rejection and put up a fake frame, let's just say. But doesn't that kind of play into everything I was talking about? It's about confidence, about satiating these certain prerequisites. It's not about what actually is on the inside. What if you're just not a necessarily confident person, but you have strong character? They don't care. You haven't done this other superficial thing that they find more important. I hate this, like, garbage surface level advice. Just shave your hair. Just do a little trim or something. That'll make a difference. Oh yeah, totally. That's why most relationships fails. That's why most men get rejected a bunch of times. That's why, like, people just, this entire facet of life, it's just mindless garbage. That's why people are just mindless. It's stuff like that, you know, it's easy. It's not just like humans are just biological animals that just do stuff to be based on their evolution. Humans can be better. For the most part, we aren't. So hold out onto the idea that humans can be better and try to find that and manifest it within your own life. But just know, through doing that, you're gonna run into garbage. Either way, you're gonna run into garbage. But trying to manifest that, you're gonna also run into garbage for not adhering to the basic primitive biology of humans. So, yeah, I hate that type of advice. Oh, just wear khakis. Oh, just trim your mustache. That'll make a difference. No, you're stupid if you think that. And you're it's usually women who say stuff like that. Because men are a little bit more grounded when it comes to the way they've been treated, because they're dudes. They have a little bit more experience as to being on the shit end of the relationship stuff. They're not the ones who have the relationships afforded to them for the overall most part. They have to be the ones who go out and get it. And they have all these disgusting superficial standards that are dangled above their head that they must satiate before anything else is even considered. And that's just a few things, right? It's a bunch of crap. But I hate that stuff. Just don't share your opinion if that's like the extent of your opinion. Oh, change your profile pictures. Really? You think that's it? Yeah, that one thing will fix it because, you know, that one thing is the determining factor in how you're perceived in general. Wow. Disgusting. Superficial animals.
They should stop feeling insecure about showing emotion, especially in a relationship. I know a lot of guys grow up being told that showing emotion was girly, but honestly, when a guy is open about how he's feeling and doesn't suppress it, it makes everyone feel more secure. When they grow—
No, it doesn't. I've heard women say when I saw a guy crying, I felt scared. I've seen so many women be like, oh, this guy's just like, yuck. I don't want you crying. I don't want to deal with all that crap. Bullshit. Stop speaking out of your ass. You have no idea what you're talking about. You're just making shit up because the stuff that you're saying makes you feel better about humans. Humans are animals. We are mindless, disgusting creatures. You think that people aren't going to judge you based on shit like this? Give me a fucking break. Where do you think that insecurity comes from? Oh, it's just a lot of dudes telling you gotta be a man, you gotta man up. Who's encouraging that? Why are they doing that? Because they feel like they're supposed to? Why is that? Where do these ideas come from? Do they just appear out of fucking nowhere? Or is it humans that reinforce these insecurities? Give me a fucking break, people. Oh my god. Don't feel insecure about showing emotion. Okay. Yeah, let me just show that I'm angry. Oh, 911 and domestic violence. I'm afraid for my safety. Oh, I'm arrested now. Shit. I got angry and raised my voice, and wow. It's almost as if, like, there's a reason why people are insecure about these things. Fucking idiots, honestly.
When the girl feels like she's the only one who has real feelings in the relationship, it's hard to trust the guy. And the guy often feels misunderstood as he isn't conveying what he wants to. Guys, please know it's okay to be emotional. You deserve to be honest with the people around you, and it makes relationships so much better for everyone involved. Dudes should not—
I agree, it does make the relationship better, but people don't give a shit about quality relations. It's not about love. Relationships aren't about love. They're not about connection. They're not about depth or substance. It's just mindless emotional garbage. Humans are stupid. I keep repeating myself, people. I agree with your last part. It does make it better. But humans don't care about better. They define better based on whatever stupid crap they feel. You ever hear art is subjective? You ever hear equality is subjective to people? You could shit out poop, put it on a fucking plate, give it to someone, they would eat it right up if they like the taste of it. Hey, you're eating shit. No, I'm not. It's good. I like it. If it were shit, why do I like it? Why is it? Yeah, that's how it works when it comes to people. It's emotion. And emotion is arbitrary. It's abstract. You can't break it down to shit like this. You can understand what the right thing is to do, but that has no bearing on how people react to it. Usually what's right is not what's comfortable or emotionally satisfying. So people are going to do the opposite of that. If I'm wrong, why do virtually every single relationship fails? Why are there so many divorces? Why do just people can't connect? Why is there so much turmoil when it comes to this fast of life? Because of shit like this. You're saying one thing and it doesn't reflect reality. You're just saying stuff that just sounds nice. Again, I agree with the last part. It does make things better. But again, people don't give a shit about better. They make up what better means.
Dudes should not worry so much that they can't solve a Rubik's Cube puzzle. Although it's mostly rare, a few chicks have dated guys who can't solve it. Being too skinny. As a formerly skinny dude, unless you have reasonable eating habits—
Okay, I keep pausing, sorry. I'm using the Rubik's Cube as an example. It's rare, sure. But that's just one out of a billion things, arbitrary, random, unimportant, like, petty things that a girl could find to be important. Take it from a Rubik's Cube, make it to the way that they put on their pants. Change it to, I don't know, the way that they fucking run, the way that they climb stairs. Take it to the way that they say a certain word. So it's just random bullshit. That Rubik's Cube is one example. And everyone has all those this applies to everyone, especially women. They all have that random shit that they find to be important. So that Rubik's Cube is one example, and it's funny how you bring that up as if like that's contributing to the goddamn conversation. Like, what? Huh? Okay. What about all this other shit? Oh, you're not talking about that because that's not in your purview. That's not something that you've experienced, so you don't give a shit about that. It's not real to you. All right, I'm all right. Let's try to make some progress here. I'm taking up. I'm going back to the longer videos, the lower effort videos. Those ones are way more valuable. When I put effort in, like it doesn't make a difference. All right, let's go.
If you have reasonable eating habits, it won't last. Word of warning, guys, in your early teens or early 20s who are insecure about being skinny. If you can eat a ton and never gain weight, chances are you won't always be skinny. Then you'll have the opposite problem. A good example is actually happening right now. I'm at a pool party. Two very nice overweight guys are in the pool, but they're both wearing t-shirts to cover their guts and are just standing around. Then there's a third heavyset guy who easily has an extra 40 pounds on the other two guys. He's shirtless, having the time of his life, playing with a band in the pool basketball game and cracking jokes. He's way more attractive to the girls because he isn't ashamed of his body and exudes confidence. Should all three lose weight? Sure, most of us should. But don't stop having fun just because you're ashamed of yourself. Live your life and have fun. That's very attractive to all people. Just my opinion, I'm a middle-aged woman, and I think I have a little wisdom about things like this. I've seen some shit. As a guy who was all...
Yeah, again, going back to the other thing, confidence that's just a thing that you're putting up in front of other people. How do you know that the guy who's being confident is actually being legitimately, like, secure in himself and is not just, I don't know, ignoring people, doing his own thing, trying to put himself out there so that some people may actually try to change that, become more confident, and other people may see them as trying too hard or being fake. It's just random bullshit. And that's one thing that you're looking at to reinforce your opinion. You're a middle-aged woman? Yeah, your opinion is less valuable when it comes to this particular thing in life. Because you don't know, you're the one sitting there judging the guy, and then now you're trying to tell other people how they should conduct themselves in order to curate the people's opinions around them. It's like, you don't know what that is. Not to say that, you haven't had people's opinions thrusted upon you, but when it comes to your performance, that's not something that applies to you as a woman. Dudes are held to a considerably higher standard, and that performance metric is directly tied to their perceived attractiveness. I mean, hell, all of that crap you were just saying. Oh, I'm looking at all these dudes. These guys are doing this. I don't like that. This guy's doing this, and I like that. Me. How I feel about them. You should do this for me. Fuck you. Get out of here. Your opinions, it doesn't matter.
As a guy who was always the fat kid in school, take it from me. It's more than likely not the guts they're trying to cover with the t-shirts. It's the man boobs. Being stuck with that shirt is mortifying, humiliating, and unfortunately, it's one of those things that no amount of "it's not that bad, it doesn't make you look hideous" pep talking is likely to help with. Guys shouldn't feel insecure about stereotypical masculine standards. You want to do handicrafts like sew or crochet or scrapbook? Great, we can do it together. I suck at them though, so the farthest I'll probably get is watching YouTube tutorials with you. You can wear cute things and accessories like scarves and handbags. Hell, you can borrow mine. If you need some time to unload emotion...
Shut up. Stop it. I one time heard a woman say one of her icks was if a guy wears a fanny pack around his waistline instead of across his shoulder. Yeah. That's what she says. This is what this girl says. I'm more willing to listen to what that other girl says about it because that seems more honest. Right? That comes from a place that seems legitimate and shallow because it's a reflection of our disgusting species. This, I don't know. No. This is all just random, like, fringe stuff that you find to be important. Yuck. I just don't trust people when they say stuff like this. None of you people, nobody knows what they're doing. They're just making shit up based on their emotions. God.
If you need some time to unload emotionally with a bubble bath or a 1 in the afternoon tea about whatever jerk you encountered X days ago, it doesn't mean you're weak or unreliable. It just means you know how to handle your emotions in a controlled and healthy way. 1. Don't feel insecure about the size of your penis.
I thought you were supposed to be able to show your emotions according to that previous post. I thought you were to be emotional. And also, how does doing all that crap have any reflection on how controlled you are when it comes to, like, your feelings? That's what I meant by arbitrary crap you're making up. How does somebody sewing or talking about some guy they had a problem with a little while ago or doing seemingly, like, surface level feminine crap, how is that a reflection of how you have your emotions controlled? That's what I meant, people. People are just making shit up. Nobody knows what's going on. It's just crap. Oh God, we'll get through this. Like 5 minutes left.
Of your penis. It really is about what you do with it, and honestly, guys with big penises are just painful most of the time. A lot of them also just fall back on the size of their penis as an excuse to be lazy as well. 2. Money. Just the same thing as the gym body. Financial success is one element women may look at, but it's usually just one of very many. Back to the idea on hair. If she's just looking at your financial success, what is it going to be like in years if you lose your job? 3. If you wouldn't hold a woman to the same standard, don't feel you should live up to that for her. Your relationship should be about equality and actually sharing your life, even if you're just looking at short term. That Saturday night is a chunk.
I like the stuff what you're saying. Too bad it's garbage. Number 1, really? Are you sure? So you date a guy with a micro penis or doesn't have a penis at all? Or maybe has some type of deformity down there? Sure, put your fucking money where your mouth is. I don't think you could do that. Secondly, also, no, sorry, actually, let's keep on going the first one. Honestly, guys are painful most of the time. It doesn't matter how you, then a lot of them also just fall back on the side as a way to be lazy as well. Sounds like you just suck at choosing partners. Maybe you should get with dudes who actually like study sex. Right, the erogenous zones, the foreplay techniques, the build-up, all the stuff surrounding it, the way you move, the way that you how the human body responds to stimulus. All right, second one, money. Okay, you're also full of shit. Finally, say one element women may look at. No, it's one of the determining factors. The same way height is, the same way how physically attractive you are is one of the determining factors. See, once you have all that, I imagine it creates a mindset where when you're constantly being approached by people who are offering you like relationships, you can probably become more, you could feel like it's okay to become more stringent. So a lot of the women do find this stuff to be like deal breakers when it comes to the way that they perceive men. And yes, the second part, back to the idea in hair, if she's just looking at your finances, what is it going to be like 10 years if you lose your job? Yeah, great question. A lot of dudes have to deal with that. When they're at rock bottom, a lot of girls, they tend to just bail out. That is a great question. You're asking the right questions. Too bad you'll never really know what it's like because that's not shit that applies to you because you're a woman. Number 3, if you wouldn't hold a woman to the same standard, don't feel you should live up to that for your relationship about quality and actually sharing life, even if you're just looking at short term. I agree, but that's not how humans work. It should be about that. The way that humans should not kill each other, or the way that humans should not be discriminatory, or the way that humans should be able to live a life they have control over instead of having to live in accordance to their environment and the way that people treat each other. But that's not how it works. You could say it all day and night. It won't make a difference in terms of how reality conducts itself, okay? You're just bullshit, all of this. This is why I say don't listen to women, especially. Most people in general have no idea when it comes to relationship stuff, but I'd be more apt to listen to what a dude has to say and take his opinion to heart. I still listen to what a girl has to say, but usually I run across gullible, naive, lacking in self-awareness crap like this all the time, especially when it comes to women. With dudes, you still get that type of stuff, but it's not as severe. Because dudes have actually been through the shit, and they have to understand at least to a degree some of it. Otherwise, they're going to keep getting screwed. Because this is crap that directly applies to their perceived sexual value. Women don't have don't have to deal with any of this crap. They have other crap to deal with. And men have to also deal with that other crap, right? Just relationship turmoil. But men have the extra hurdle of having to satiate this arbitrary crap that women apply to them. Because men are in the position of, oh, I have to approach, I have to be confident, I have to be this, that, don't do this, don't do that, do this, do that, but do this in a certain way, don't do this in a certain way, do that. But all this changes based on who you interact with. Yeah, you'll never know what it's like. So don't share your opinion.
Short term. That Saturday night is a chunk of your life. If you're not getting anything from it, you're just living up to her standards. It isn't worth your time. 4. Being macho and acting strong all the time is not that important to most women. It's one of those pressures society puts on you. It's okay to say you're scared. It's okay to be depressed. It's okay not to fight someone just because they're trying to insult you in public. It's okay just to be a person. 5. If you like video games,
if you're telling people this, where do you think that mindset that's been hounded into them comes from? I already said this in the fucking previously in this video. It's like you having, oh my God. Oh God, all right, let's just keep going. It's one of those pressure society puts on you. It's okay to say you're scared, it's okay to say you're depressed, it's okay to not fight someone. Oh yeah, totally. So if you had a boyfriend, you got beaten up right in front of you, that wouldn't change your opinion of him, really? It shouldn't, but life doesn't operate in what should or shouldn't be. Things just are. Yeah, I don't believe you.
If you like video games and eating pizza on the weekend, it's not okay for someone to tell you that's wrong. There are women out there that would be like, cool, hand me a slice and the second controller. You're not automatically in the wrong because a woman wants something different. The video game one cuts deep. I'm really into them and want to be a game developer at some point when I get out of college, but a lot of people from my hometown laugh at that kind of thing. One of my friends from college asked me lots of questions about the games I like and how to play them. Even though I knew she wasn't interested in the games themselves, it made me feel really important and like I was being paid attention to. It's one of the best things you can do for someone with low self-esteem like me. I have a lot.
I wonder where that low self-esteem comes from. A lot of people in your town from your experience are saying that? You point out the one instance when a girl actually inquires about that, even if she isn't interested in it, and it makes you feel pretty intense? There must be nothing behind that. There must be nothing that motivates that. You must have not been faced with, like, just getting constantly hounded in on these ideas hounded into your brain throughout your entire life. That probably just comes from nowhere. So maybe all these opinions are valid. And these women aren't just pulling shit out of their ass to try to make you feel a certain, to make them feel, let's be honest, they're trying to make themselves feel a certain way by telling you this. So it makes them come off as like, just don't worry about it, it's fine. You're cool, don't worry about it. Sure. Horse shit.
I have a lot of guy friends that are really insecure about pimples or acne. I tell them that everyone gets them and everyone is insecure about it, but the response is usually something like, girls have makeup to hide it, and so I taught a few of them how to subtly put on concealer so they could feel more confident. Basically, things you can't control. If anyone tries to shame you for your height, hair, beard, no beard, dick size, they're complete idiots and not worth your time. But also being skinny. I see a lot of body.
Yeah, I agree. So be alone. Because that's not how people work. Humans care about these things you can't control, and they use that as a reflection of who you are. Because people aren't better than that for the most part. Yeah, I agree with you. Therefore, be alone? Yeah. You can find people who may be able to fit within these different things, but you're going to run through so much garbage and horseshit before you even get to that. And that's if you run into that. Because you're going to run into the contrary for the overwhelming most part as a dude, and let's be honest here. Like, when we could say all these things don't matter, but that's not going to have a reflection on how you're perceived. That's not going to have a reflection on how you're treated or how they react to you. You ever have a girl be like, oh, who wouldn't want to date you? Who wouldn't? You have all these nice features and yada yada. You're just a really good candidate. Would you date me? No. Not to say that that's, I've read stuff. I mean, of course, who hasn't been through stuff like that? But it's like, that's not really been my experience. Because again, this types of stuff isn't really brought up. Usually if you bring up if you bring up any qualms you have with just humanity, people give you the surface level, shallow shitfuck pep talk as if it's supposed to make you feel a different way, but it has no reflection on like action and the way that people actually treat each other. Because there's a reason why people feel these ways about these things. It's like, come on. Doesn't just come from nowhere, these types of insecurities. It has to be kind of curated. The same way that a dude who's confident in himself, that has to come from somewhere. It's not just out of nowhere. You have to build that. It's a joke, man. Humans are stupid.
I see a lot of body shaming towards guys about that, and it breaks my heart. You don't have to be muscular or big or anything. So many girls like slender men, but not slender man. He's scary. Being insecure. Having a bad day? Tell me. Don't feel sexy? Tell me. I'll be your hype man. Knowing that I'm wrong. I know some guys who don't like to correct their GF or wife, but please tell me if I'm wrong. Not saying to embarrass me and leave me humiliated, but I want to know. Dick size and their weight. I understand some people might think that that's a lie, but I personally think so as a woman because size is not what determines how good sex is. Some people may have a preference, but with 7 billion people in this world, I think preferences are diverse. Plus, there are vagina sizes too. Many people forget that. As for weight, love your body. Confidence is attractive. It only should be put into concern if your health is affected by it. Also, this is my opinion. This isn't a lie because this is genuinely how I think. I know there are people out there who can agree, while others may not. Please don't disrespect your luscious long hair. Go to the gym all you want, dip into psychology, do what you want to do to improve yourself as a human being. Just leave your freaking hair alone if you prefer your long hair. Nothing makes my heart beat faster than a man who embraces his long, natural hair. I swear, I get heart palpitations.
What about guy with short hair? Oh, right, that's just not the thing that you find important because of just random arbitrary emotional reasons. Right. Funny, and you only give a shit about the stuff that applies to you. Right, okay. Now we know. It's good. It's just, yeah, it's crazy, man. It's a joke. If all of the stuff that you're saying is real, which it's not, people wouldn't be having all the problems that they have. There wouldn't be as much relationship turmoil as what you're talking about. You could say the shit, but it has no bearing on what actually happens. Why are so many dudes lonely and feeling dejected? Why are there's so much toxicity when it comes to dating? Why is there so much, like, just issues? Why is it that, like, you have to learn how to do all these things when you can't just be yourself and have something happen as a result of it? Why is that? Because if all the stuff that you're saying is true, then all this other stuff wouldn't be happening. But lots of dudes are lonely. Even a lot of women are lonely. So why is that? It must mean that what you're saying is just crap that you're saying and it doesn't mean anything. I would love to live in shoulds. That'd be so cool if life was about what should be. But that's not how it works. Life is just arbitrary circumstance. And things just happen just because they happen. You know, people should be able to get along. People should be able to understand each other. People should be decent. But oh, hey, none of that. Very little amounts of that. Who would have guessed? It's almost as if what should be isn't just because it should. Whoa. Crazy.
Quotations. A lot of what women are saying in this thread is nice, but that's just it. They're nice words. A lot of women do care about penis length, height, and find it weird when men show emotion. Real life is different than writing. A lot of upvote.
Oh my god! Whoa! What? Yes, dude, one person! Oh my god, and it was like so clean, concise, to the point. These are just nice words, that's all they fucking are. But in reality, none of it means anything. Holy shit! Oh my, dude. I am actually taken aback. Holy shit. Whoa. One person was real. One person. Thank you. I was sitting here with my little angry little fucking shitty human. One person was able to actually acknowledge the state of humanity. Holy shit. Good on you, dude. Good fucking shit. Good shit. That is awesome. It's not awesome. It sucks. But it's good that you can at least realize it. Because that in itself is some degree of control. It's reacting. If you just lie to yourself all the time, if you just live in delusion, you are making things worse. Because in order for you to be able to react according to things, you have to understand it. One would think. In order to react in a better way. One would think, granted, just because you understand, just because you curate your reaction doesn't mean it's going to turn out well. Still, life's still entirely arbitrary. But still, that's a step in the right direction. That's fucking awesome. Thank you to that one person. You single-handedly redeemed this entire fucking video. Thank you. Oh man.
A lot of upvoted stuff is also only upvoted because men who are insecure about these specific things will obviously upvote comments they say should not be taken insecure about it. Reddit is and always will be an echo chamber. People upvote what they like, they don't upvote the truth. The duration of sex.
Yes. Hey, another one, but I don't agree with the upvote. A lot of dudes are willing to acknowledge that these people are full of shit. Granted, everyone wants to go with where the emotions dictate them. If someone's telling them something that makes them feel good, they're probably going to want to go with that, right? A lot of my videos that people dislike, they don't even actually watch the videos or understand what I'm saying. It's like, they're just emotional. They're just reacting. But I think dudes are a little bit more inclined to be real and aren't going to agree with you if you're just trying to pad their emotions. Because that doesn't do as much for them as you know, I guess for your average woman. I don't know, I'm just speaking in generals here, but okay, thank you for throwing in some of these comments that actually are like reasonable. Yes, Reddit is a goddamn fucking echo chamber. There's a lot of garbage there. Okay, cool. Thank you. Raise my mood a little bit. A little bit. I don't try to attach too much. My own pursuits will make me feel good about myself, but I'm just reacting. See, emotions. Yeah, I'm a human too. We're all doing this. I'm culpable. I'm no different from anyone else. We're all doing the same shit. So bear with me here. We're almost done.
Duration of sex. We get it. Sometimes things get super heated and it ends quicker than you'd like. Firstly, sometimes it's flattering, but secondly, we really don't mind. Just talk to your partner or go for round 2, or better yet, help your partner get off in the meantime. They shouldn't feel—
Okay, about that. I'll give you something useful here. Dude, research. I've said it before in this video, and I've said it in other videos. Study erogenous zones, study foreplay techniques, study how the human reacts to stimulus, the human body reacts to stimulus. Like, watch things, learn, maybe replicate if you have the, you know, it's not easy if you do not have the accessibility to sex. And being good at sex has no bearing on how people react to whether or not they do or don't want to get with you. That's just one of the many things. But it's like, there's a lot to it. Take your time. Slow down, speed up, slow down. Don't go, it's like acting. It's like a performance, right? It's being good at a video game, let's just say. Just learn, research, educate yourself. You can get better at that stuff. Have it take longer, right? Just, I don't even want to get too in depth on that because I'm worried if I need to. But anyways, yeah. Now we're stuck in this weird silence. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Hopefully people aren't lying to you and you don't give in to those lies. Hopefully you're doing all right. Like the video, subscribe. Thank you for watching. We're not done. I'm just trying to break the silence.
They shouldn't feel insecure about their sexual preferences. They like what they like, skin tone, body type, hair. We like what we like, and we can't change that. And this goes for girls too. Probably already been said, but dick size, for real, 90% of us would much rather be able to walk in the morning. Trust me. And never date anyone who bases their choices in men on dick size. Leave those bitches for the guys who date by boob size. The average dick size is 5.1 inches when hard and 3.5 inches when flaccid. Average vagina depth is 4 inches. So what are you even gonna do with an 8-inch? Sweat. My boyfriend was so insecure about his sweat. He went out of his way to try to stay dry, wearing strong deodorant, etc. Newsflash, guys, you look and smell awesome when you're crusty dusty. Please do not confuse crusty dusty with a lack of hygiene. Smelling today's scent is definitely not the same as smelling a week's worth of stank.
Okay. Fact of the matter is, or to walk away from this, don't trust what people say. They can say this stuff's important, but that has no bearing on how things actually work in reality. Just take things with a grain of salt. Try not to place too much emotional meaning, I guess, around these types of potential connections. It's impossible. It's a crazy thing for me to say, too, for you to not place a bunch of emotions around that, because that's one of the big meanings of life. It gives us a lot of purpose in existence. But the more you feel in that particular way, the more you give into it, the more it will hurt. If/when things don't turn out the way that you want them to. So expect these types of things from people. Expect people to just be emotional, to not know what's going on, and to dictate their actions through an emotional lens, because that's humans. We're animals, dude. We're no better than our basic nature for the overall most part. So, cool. Stay alive.